Today, Ontario Liberal MPP Rick Bartolucci introduced a private member's bill that he hopes will change the way financial advice is regulated in the province of Ontario. Currently, anyone can hang out a shingle and offer financial advice. Advocates is one of the largest associations representing advisors and planners. It claims the lack of oversight leaves consumers exposed to possible fraud or bad advice from underqualified advisors. Greg Pollock is the president and CEO of Advocates. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Amanda.
So what's the heart of this? It's to create basically a professional designation so that it isn't just open to all comers?
Absolutely. So if you think of some of the other professions out there, if you think of law, if you think of accounting, if you think of medicine, they've all created professions over time. This is the kind of proposal we see in this bill today in Ontario.
So I would like to differentiate. First, I have to disclose I'm a participant in this industry. I have a mutual fund company. I sell my products and services to financial advisors. I'm very aware of the regulatory environment, which, by the way, has never been more costly than it is now. Can you differentiate for us the difference between IIROC, which are brokers that work for banks, and financial planners that might work for insurance companies?
Sure, Kevin, and let me say that all of those individuals would be regulated under this proposal, and we might see specialties and specializations, if you want, within the industry. So you might see folks who are licensed to sell life insurance being under one specialty, financial planners under another specialty, MFDA registrants like yourself under another specialty, and IIROC registrants under another one again. And you have group pensions, and you have group health benefits, and so forth. So these specialties would all come together and fall under one profession of financial advisors. All of these individuals providing various forms of financial advice to the Ontario public.
Let's talk about the fees component here, because fees are one place that I think a lot of ordinary investors are really not on the ball. They're not educated. They don't understand the way that they work, they're applied, and that they eat into returns. What would you like to see happen where fees are concerned?
Well, at the end of the day, I'd like to see choice in the marketplace. I'd like to see fee-only advisors out there. I'd like to see commission-based advisors out there. I'd like to see opportunities for all Canadians, whether they're Main Street Canadians or the more well-heeled Canadians, if you want, having access to the kinds of products and services and advice that they need in order to meet their needs. Let me just make one quick point, Amanda. There was a study released about a year and a half ago from Serrano that shows very clearly over a period of time when you work with a financial advisor here in Canada, you're going to be 2 or 3 times more wealthy. So it's very important that Canadians engage, Ontarians engage financial advisors. We would like to see advisors properly regulated and the consuming public knowing who it is that are providing
I'm going to jump in ahead of Kevin just to ask you kind of a follow-up, because places like the UK and Australia are banning commissions on mutual funds.
Right.
Why are you opposed to that idea?
Well, because we think at the end of the day that's going to lead to less advice for Main Street Canadians. A lot of Main Street Canadians are going to think twice about, do I want to pull out my checkbook and write a separate check to my financial advisor for his or her service, and then another check to the fund company if you want. And human behavior being what it is, we believe that's going to lead to less advice. If you lead to less advice, that means going to be less capable, financially capable Canadians. That's going to become a problem for the broader society.
Can I ask you, this initiative started in Ontario, and it's designed and focused on the Ontario market, but as a participant that is in a national situation, I would like to see, and I think others in my industry would like the same, can't we have the same ground rules for the entire country? Just like the SEC administers for the United States, this goes to the whole idea of getting a national regulator, national rules. If this is good for the goose, why isn't it good for the gander? And I mean gander, East Coast.
Right, okay, there we go, Kevin. I absolutely agree with you 100% here. The challenge is that the regulation of professions and the regulation of the distribution of financial advice, so the sale of securities and so forth, currently is regulated provincially. So we have no option but to go province by province by province. Wouldn't it be so much better if we could simply go to Ottawa and sit down with legislators in Ottawa and work out a deal that's going to serve the best interests of all Canadians?
So let's talk about where this goes from here. Private members' bill introduced. Private members' bills don't have great track records of actually becoming law. So what's your optimism about where this goes?
Well, actually, it's fairly significant. Mr. Bartolucci, in speaking to him earlier today, he indicated the bill is about 40 pages in length.
Yep.
Most private members' bills are 4 or 5 pages in length. So there's been a lot of heavy lifting done with respect to this bill. Minister Sousa here in Ontario said in his fall economic update that he was going to examine the oversight of financial planners and advisors here in Ontario. So we have these things working on parallel track. I think one will be speaking to the other, and I think we're going to have some good success.
We've only got seconds here, but if this becomes successful, will some people who currently have a shingle out have to pull it in?
I would think so, and we would hope so.
And that would take some potential fraud out of the market, I guess.
In our view, it would. Absolutely.
Great to have you here, Greg.
Thanks, Amanda.